Motorhead Garage, the program that each week introduces you to and shows you how to install the latest in exciting and innovative products for your vehicle. Now here's your host, Dave Dobson.
Motorheads, if you are working out of a truck and trailer, maybe you're a race team owner, maybe you have a food truck, lighting can be a problem. You know, the lights that come with your trailer, teeny tiny, not so great for working. And that's what you found when you were a team owner at the racetrack, David. So what were some of the problems with the existing lights out there?
Well, the existing lights that we saw, there were some other companies that were already making pit lights, and we saw that they were poorly constructed. They were zip tied on, Velcro, some flimsy clips, that kind of thing. And we decided to come up with a system to solidly mount the lights, to actually bolt them to the pole.
And so Pit Viper Lights was born there.
Right. So this is a patent pending bracket that we have that's laser cut, that securely mounts the light to the pole.
And you told me beforehand that the lighting quality was good with the others, but the durability wasn't there.
Yeah, the durability just wasn't there. We wanted something for the racing environment that was super strong, that, you know, gets knocked around, whatever, it's not going to fall off.
You throw it back in the trailer.
Throw it back in the trailer, you're good to go.
Fantastic. And good lighting in the pits gives you a few different advantages as well.
Yeah, safety is a big thing. A lot of these racetracks aren't lit very well out in the pits. Some of the pits are further away from the racetracks. Trip hazards, losing things on the ground.
And this is your bread and butter here. This
yeah,
right here.
The dual set is our bread and butter, one on each side of the trailer. It's 20,000 lumens. It lights up a pretty fair area. It'll even light up your neighbor's pit.
And how does it hook up?
It's 110 volts.
Okay, simple enough.
Plugs in, it's got a switch, simple.
Very good.
Bracket mounts to the back of the trailer, screws on. We furnish all the screws, all of the hardware comes complete in the kit,
and
everything.
And that's 5 feet long, and if you want to go farther out, then you've got this connector here.
Right.
Fastens right on, and
then that slides right in there with it. So yeah, so then you got a 10-foot.
Perfect.
If you want your light further out.
Very cool.
We sell just about as many 5-foots as we do 10-foots. If you buy the 10-foot, it can be used as a 5-foot as well. So,
gotcha. And you showed the bracket here that it comes with. Here's an option. This is great. We mentioned that throwing it back in the trailer. Not always the best idea to just shove your stuff in there, and a lot of people like their trailer to be really organized.
Yeah, about a year and a half into it, we realized people kept asking, hey, we need a better way to store them. So we came up with this storage rack. This can mount on the floor of the trailer here, and then it's a section that goes up here that Velcros together.
Okay, cool.
And it works really well. The light slides in there, and you just Velcro it back together. You can also mount it. We've got people that are mounting them horizontally too, so it works both ways.
Keep everything up and out of the way, and those are laser cut and made in the USA, so that the quality is super high. Let's talk about another high quality item you have here. This is what you would mount on the side of your truck if you're maybe working under a canopy. You see a lot of drag racers working alongside their truck.
Food trucks.
Yeah, food trucks,
all sorts of different people that want to come off the side of the trailer. It's the same light bars, same amount of light, and it just slides on to this bracket.
And we've talked about racers, we've talked about food trucks. Who else is using Pit Viper lights?
We're getting more into the commercial side of the business. We've got people using them for welding, remote welders, mobile welders, commercial service trucks, people servicing heavy equipment, just you name it, any kind of commercial application where you're out somewhere mobile and you don't have enough light.
Now, Justin, we've talked about pit lighting, but that's not all you have at Pit Viper Lights.
That's certainly not all we do. With the canopy lights and the other dual sets, especially the canopy lights, we're in people, craft fairs, anywhere you can basically use lighting for your canopies, right? So there's been a transition from what we do with racing into other products.
Now, what else did you bring for show and tell here?
We brought our solar lights, which are great for anywhere that you might need lighting and don't want to run power. Right? So we send all the hardwood with them. You can mount them just about anywhere. They charge with the sun, even low sun, even in the winter, even with snow on top of the solar panels here. So we've got 100-watt and 300-watt units here.
And those are great for farms and that sort of thing as well?
Farms and that sort of thing, and they've got 4 different settings. You can go on constant mode where it's on all night. You can go on motion detection mode where it just comes on when there's motion underneath the sensor. 2-hour on at the beginning of the night and then motion mode, or 3-hour on and then motion mode.
This is one I really like. Tell us about this shop light here.
Yeah, so we started getting requests from our customers to do more interior lighting type stuff because everything we had was exterior lighting, and so this is a 150-watt shop light, plugs into an existing outlet, and you can mount them anywhere from 10-foot ceilings all the way up to 22-foot ceilings, right? and really wide angle, so you get good coverage of light and super bright.
Do not let darkness strike. Get pit fiber lights. Go to pitfiberlights.com. Motorhead Garage. We'll be right back, so stay tuned. We'll see you in a few.
Motorhead Garage, presented by DragonFireTools.com, is brought to you by AMSOIL, the first in synthetics. DragonFireTools.com, industrial workbenches with integrated tool storage. And PaintedAutoBodyParts.com, the leading U.S. auto body parts online store.
Bam, you push your accelerator pedal and in an instant, you're off. The car's going. Wide open throttle, man, you're booking it. How did that happen? How did you actually get that signal from here down to the throttle? Did you use a cable? Is it cable driven? Or is it computer, drive-by-wire? Welcome to this AMSOIL Tech Tip. It's all about the throttle bodies and how are we going to get that signal down there. Let's start out with the basics, the actual cable-driven one. Now, a cable-driven one uses a throttle position sensor, and you can see here it basically does about a half a volt at idle, returns a signal to the computer, and then it knows where it's at. The other one, wide open throttle, is about 4.5 volts or a little bit higher. You know we're at wide open throttle, so we can deliver the fuel, but we're still pulling it with the cable. Matter of fact, I'll show you right here, you can see it. There's the throttle position sensor, and it's going to be bolted to the other side of the throttle body where we're actually pulling it on the cable. I have an oscilloscope hooked up to it so we can actually watch that throttle position sensor in action. This is pretty cool. So there's the cable. You pull the cable. When you slowly pull it, you can see the voltage rising from 0, like we said, all the way up to about 4.5 volts back down to an idle. Well, that's wonderful. But you may have a problem. Bam, there's a little glitch right there. It actually fell out. You have a problem there. Something going on, your car could buck, it could hiccup, something happening with that signal, not good. Now, drive-by-wire, what's going on there? Well, right here you have an accelerator pedal position sensor. That's actually in the car. You have no direct link to the throttle. We're going over here to the throttle actuator control module. He's talking to the PCM, and then they determine where you're gonna put the throttle. Sounds scary? Nah, there's more fail-safe built into it than a cable itself. Len, really cool, I got one right here, watch this. Don't try this at home, but you can see I got it hooked up. I actually give it a little bit of juice. Man, you can see the gearing on the one side, and then you can see that throttle plate open. And I'm talking about, bam, wide open throttle in an instant. Massive amount of technology going on here. How is that technology built into AMSOIL?
Well, at the end of the day, the same thing really applies to oil because the industry itself is always changing, just like these cars are always changing. So the demands on the motor oil are constantly changing. So we have to be way out in front of it. A new additive comes out, a new base oil comes out. We're constantly looking, we're constantly monitoring the market for changes, for increases in performance, and we have to buy it, build it, and then test it. So we're usually 6 months to a year out in front of a new product or changes to a current product. We don't build them and then let them sit. They're constantly being worked on. So I would call it more of an evolution. So as the industry and the technology changes, the oil changes along with it because we want to provide that top level protection.
Yeah, and you do want that top level protection. There's a ton of technology and science that goes into all the AMSOIL products. Don't believe me? Check it out for yourself at amsoil.com.
My name is Wayne Hamilton. This is my wife Peggy's 37 Packard. Well, I really can't tell you when we bought it. We've had it about 5 years now. We've had to put 2 transmissions in it. We've had to put the glass in it. We did the upholstery. We did some metal work on it. We did some woodworking. It has wood framing in it. We did some suspension work on it, and we put the gauges and the instrument cluster and all that in it. We did put a fat bend front suspension under it with a power rack and pinion on it with disc brakes. Fat Man front end is like a reproduction of a Mustang 2, and we have a 9-inch Ford rear end in it with the original leaf springs on it. We have a 88 Corvette tune port fuel injection engine in it. We have a 700 R4 automatic transmission. The seats are out of Mercedes And I can't tell you what model because we just got it from the junkyard. The hood ornament that's on it is off of a more expensive Packard. It's more elaborate than the original one. It was more plain. But the grill is what got her, and she had to have it because the grill look on it.
Here at Motorhead Garage, presented by Dragonfire Tools, we love old trucks. We love this 1963 Chevrolet pickup truck. It comes to us courtesy of RS Restorations. And Zach, you guys do builds like this, complete builds. You're also a customization shop and a repair shop. But your passion is solving problems. It's something you really love to dig into. And this truck is obviously riding on airbags, so you can raise and lower it depending on how you want the look.
Right.
What's one of the problems people run into when they're running with airbags?
Sure. So a lot of times, because these trucks, to get this low stance, you have to put airbags on it, which is an air ride suspension, which has air lines running all up and down the frame. So one of the things that can happen is either an airbag could just blow from manufacturer defect or something like that. The second thing is maybe something off the road comes up and hits an airline and you lose air. And it could in one corner or all four corners at worst case.
Yeah, and then when that happens, suspension pieces actually might be hitting the ground. You could be stranded right there.
Correct. This truck right here is sitting on the ground. The lower control arms in the front are actually touching the floor.
So one, you're stuck. Two, it's hard to get a jack underneath.
Correct.
And so you're not coming home. So how did you solve the problem at RS Restorations?
Yeah, so I was working on a friend's truck. He just kept saying, I don't want to be stranded. So I came up with a very simple bracket and bump stop that mounts to the original cross member. So you can put this on, and if something does happen where you lose an airline or air in any corner on the front, then this will catch and keep the suspension off the ground.
It's called the AirSafe Kit, and here's how it mounts. There's a couple of bolts right here that go into the original cross member, and it's as simple as that. Use the cotter pin to take it to move it in and out, and this is for the stock suspension. If we flip this around here, we can see another application. If you're running tubular A-arms, then it kind of works the same way, except it's just mounted on the side here. Again, 2 bolts to fasten it to the cross member, and you're running basically the same system. And you see here, this is actually a longer bump stop than on the other side, and that's just to demonstrate. This is, I think, 1 inch longer, you said?
1 inch longer.
Yeah, why would you want to be running that instead of the shorter one?
Sure, so a couple of different features of this kit is, number one, the short bump stops can be driven with the truck. So if you're going on a long trick, say you're on a power tour or something like that, and you want to have that fail-safe in the back of your mind, you throw in those shorter bump stops and you can drive with them in. Then if something happens, you don't have to deal with, having something on the ground and ripping something out from underneath or whatever.
Yeah.
So the difference with the long ones is, some guys back in the day when they'd have a problem like that, if they could get a jack underneath it, they'd jack it up and put a 4x4 piece of wood in there and limp it home. So what this one is, it's a little bit longer. You can keep it under the seat or in the glove compartment, and then if you're able to get a jack up, instead of using a 4x4, just throw this in and then limp the truck to a safer spot and make repairs.
The AirSafe Kit is a simple solution to a really big problem.
Yeah.
You also love solving problems with exhaust. What can be tricky about that? And you've done the exhaust on this truck as well.
Yeah, I did. So, exhaust is tricky to begin with, but with an air ride vehicle especially, when the components move up and down so much, you have to really get the exhaust in the right location. So it's really tough with these to make sure that you can get it out the back. And actually on this truck it's not, because we couldn't figure it out with where the battery tray is and all that stuff. But one thing I love about exhaust is just that it's creative. You have to figure out how to get it out to where it's not going to sound bad and have gases.
You also did the engine in this, and that's another set of problems because you're shoehorning something that's brand new into something from 1963, so that can create some issues. What is it like when someone comes to you with a vehicle and they've got a vision for it? You've got to figure out how to make that all work on an old vehicle.
Right.
What's it like when you get that solved and you can present to somebody, here is your car, here's your truck?
Oh, it feels great. It feels great, especially when somebody has a specific vision. Being able to make that vision come to life is really rewarding.
If someone wants a restoration or a build, why should they come to RS Restorations? Why should they trust you?
Well, one, I think our work stands alone. Our tagline is class and classic rides, so we try to make sure that whenever the project is finished that the customer feels really good about what they have. Another thing that sets me apart, I think, from a lot of other builders is that I communicate all the time. Every little thing that we run into, if we run into a problem, they know what's going on. And I've had a lot of feedback that customers really enjoy that, because some shops, they deliver their car and they don't see it again for 3-4 months. My customers know what's going on all the time.
I think your story is really interesting, and it shows where your passion came from. How did this all begin?
Yeah, so I've been messing with cars for about 30 years from a young kid. And a couple years ago, I had a desk job that I just decided I didn't want to do anymore. So I decided to pursue my passion and see where that would lead. And I think the work that we've done so far speaks for itself.
I think your passion is definitely reflected in your work. rsrbuilds.com is the place you want to go to find builds like this, things they can do for your car, customize it. They can build the vehicle of your dreams. We'll be right back with more Motorhead Garage presented by DragonFireTools.com. So keep it locked here.
Motorhead Garage, presented by DragonFireTools.com. Industrial workbenches with integrated tool storage. And brought to you by Clamp Tight. Clamp anything, any size, any shape, anywhere. Ion Classic, the best way to document your restorations. And by Quick Latch Products. No tools required to operate.
The PaintedAutoParts.com Motorhead of the Week is Bruce Gibson. Now, like many other people, Bruce got his love for things that go by visiting the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. He grew up in Indy, where he'd go to the track first with his parents, then with his friends when he got older. Bruce left Indianapolis when he enlisted in the Marines and later became an officer. He then spent 30 years with the California Highway Patrol, and as a CHP officer, he loved defensive driving and tactical driving, of course, who wouldn't? Later, Bruce became a CHP pilot, spending his days in the seat of a different type of motorized vehicle. Being a motorhead, whenever Bruce got the time off, he'd head to the racetrack, especially to NHRA drag racing events from coast to coast. And it looks like Bruce has a special knack for meeting people, from drivers to the TV crew. Now, his wife, Kari, tells me the crowds and the noise isn't her thing, but she can never say no when Bruce wants her to go to the track. She says that knowing Bruce is having a good time makes it all worthwhile. Kari, thank you for telling us about Bruce. You too can tell us about your favorite Motorhead of the Week. Just send us a note at motorheadgarage.tv and tell us why someone you know should be the PaintedAutoParts.com Motorhead of the Week. This is Motorhead Garage presented by DragonFireTools.com, and this is a cell phone. Of course, we all have them, and you're a motorhead, so I know you love to be in your car. So what do you do with your phone when you're in your car? You've got a lot of options, right? You can put it on the magnet on the dash. That's on your vent. It's going to block your vent in the summertime. That's a bad deal. In the wintertime, it's going to fry your phone. And you can put it in your cup holder. You can put it on your lap. But of course, you know you're going to drive it. It's going to fall into the crack there, and you'll never see it again. And half of the states, Scott, in the union don't allow you to hold it in your hand anyway, and that's a bad idea. So what's my solution? What can I do?
So you put it in a cell phone seat. Cell phone seat is the newest device in the market. It is a single piece of plastic that's got a flexible base. All you got to do is flex this and pop it in your cup holder and release it. It's going to lock in there, and then guess what? Now you're legally hands-free. You can just drop your phone in there like that. You can also go horizontal. You got power cord access here, and here's the best part. Cell phone seat does not block your cup holder. You still have room for your drink.
Whoa, that is cool. And it's so simple. Why didn't somebody think of this before?
I don't know. It was exactly the same with me. I was driving in my neighborhood in my truck. I threw my phone in my cup holder like most people do, and it landed in some kind of a goo, you know, from my kid's squeeze pack. And I pulled my phone out, and I was kind of annoyed, and I thought, why isn't there a better solution? And kind of this idea popped in my head, and I went home to look for it. You go home and you look online, and I was like, this has to exist. It didn't exist. I couldn't figure out why. So I decided to draw it out, you know, much to my wife's dismay, as she's looking over my shoulder saying, what are you doing? What are you doing? I was like, I got an idea. So I drew it out. I found actually a designer that could do 3D AutoCAD type designs, and we 3D printed them just to test it out. And I got the first one I remember that was 3D printed, and it was huge. It was like this big. And the guy that was kind of helping me with the designs felt bad. He's like, I messed it up, it's too big. I was like, no, send it, let me see it. I need to know if this works. Sure enough, I put the big one in my cup holder. Even though it was giant, it worked perfectly. So we kept going, and as you can see now, we have the final version. It took about 6 years to actually get this just right, but now we have a universal cell phone mount that fits in about 90% of vehicle cup holders, holds pretty much any phone, phones with cases, any type of phone, phones with accessories, pop sockets, loopies, doopies, sloopies, whatever you got. This one simple device is going to work for most everything.
What are some of the little extras you put a lot of thought into to keep the phone in place there?
Sure. So the first thing we did was we cut out these side slots here, and that's going to allow you to put your phone in there horizontal. Interestingly enough, it also works with tablets in that horizontal slot. We put this in my son's cup holder on his car seat, and he can put his iPad in there for long road trips. We put a flexible tab here that's going to put a little pressure on the phone, so it's going to hold phones in there, phones without cases, smaller phones, it's going to hold those in a little bit tighter. And then it also can flex back when you have bigger cases like this. This is an iPhone 14 Pro with a wallet on it. It's going to be able to flex back and hold those in there as well. Those bigger cases with OtterBox cases, it's going to be able to push that tab back and hold that in as well. We have power cord access here, so obviously people want to be able to charge their phone in the car. And I like the fact that this sits in your cup holder. Your power cord is staying down here to the side. A lot of newer cars have those flexible tabs in their cup holders or those rubber kind of squares. So we cut the slots out here to allow those tabs to go right in there, and they work great. It's so fun to put this in when you have those spring-loaded tabs and hear it just click in place like it's meant for it. But that doesn't mean that you need those tabs. It's going to work with cup holders without the tabs or without the rubber things as well. It's going to work in a lot of different cup holder styles as long as they're between about 2.5 to 4 inches in round, which pretty much
most of them are, right?
Most of them are.
You put so much thought into the design. How much thought did you put into the materials that you're using as well?
We talked about doing, different types of plastics. We talked about doing different types of materials like rubber. We landed on ABS plastic, which is the same thing that Legos are made out of. It's a very non-toxic, safe plastic, right? Because kids play with it. And if you've ever stepped on a Lego in the middle of the night, you know how strong ABS plastic is.
Guilty as charged.
This is a very strong, well-made device. It's going to work in extreme heat. It's going to work in, extreme cold. It's a very universal material.
It's a veteran-owned company. The product is made in America, and this is going to make things a lot safer and more convenient for you when you're behind the wheel. It is called the cell phone seat. You can find it at cellphoneseat.com.
Motorhead Garage presented by DragonFireTools.com returns in just 7 short days. We will see you then.